In this video, I'm going to be watching Minecraft cozy builds while giving you soft commentary and rain sounds to hopefully help you fall asleep fast. Just lay back, relax, as we look through some beautiful Minecraft house builds from beginning to end. If you would like to support this channel, please like and subscribe. We are going through a bit of a transition period, so it's pretty difficult to get in the algorithm, so anything that you can do is highly appreciated. Likes, subscribes, comments, and let's get into this. So all of the builds that I am showing you are not my own. These are made by different people that I've found, and I just want to show you some interesting builds. We're going to mix together some big channels and small channels in this video and the series if it becomes one, hopefully. And yeah, so if it does become a thing and you would like me to watch your build video, you can of course tell me in the comments section and we'll figure something out. It just depends on how this first video really goes, to be honest. Now, I am the typical Minecraft type person where about as good as I can do is a box with a roof on it, and that's pretty much it. Or maybe like, you know, little houses based on, you know, houses that I've lived in and stuff like that. But anything coming like this, these beautiful modern houses, I'm completely lost, basically. I'm not sure which texture pack this person is using as well, but it's quite pretty. Definitely not vanilla. By the way, we do have a Minecraft server that you can join, only $5 a month. Link in the description to how to do that. If you are a current channel member or a Patreon supporter, you already have access to it, so just check our Patreon page or the members only post community tab thing. Sorry, I don't know what to call it, but yeah, that, and you'll have a link to the Minecraft server. It's only $5 a month, and I priced it that way, along with some other perks you get beyond just the server, of course. You know, like the vault access to my old content and some other things, you know, audio only versions of this show in case you have bad internet or you just want to have an MP3 version of it with no ads. That's also a thing members get. And yeah, so try to pack as much value as possible into that $5. But at the end of the day, Minecraft Realms, if I'm not mistaken, costs $7. And my server that I host myself, where we can do mods and anything you want, really, by, you know, we're going to start doing user suggestions if it ever does fill up. You know, it's going to be really your server too. You know, you'll have voting power on different add-ons and mod packs and stuff. But right now it's a very empty server, really, because it just launched. I usually watch speed runs, but right when I was doing the let's watch Minecraft speed runs together, or the let's fall asleep while we watch Minecraft speed runs yesterday, I was like, you know, maybe I should do some videos about builds, about nice builds, because I'm terrible at building, and I know a lot of people like the Minecraft for sleep kind of thing, where people would do like the long plays in Minecraft. I am such a bad builder that I know my limitations, and the fact that nothing I build would ever be worth watching, basically. Like I said, I can make like boxes, you know, boxes with like a roof made out of stairs, and that's pretty much it. But I've made the Minecraft server because I wanted to see other people build stuff like this. And maybe if the server does grow over time, I'll start doing like little tours or something like, hey, in the server, this person built this beautiful house and, or this amazing tower or castle and stuff like that. So you will get credit for your builds, obviously, if you do that. But right now I'm really just trying to figure out what the YouTube algorithm will even show people, because a lot of times it kind of has a mind of its own where I don't know what is going to actually get views at all. Like, we're at that stage at the very beginning. I do have videos that range back to 2025 when I was actually doing something different. It's a little bit, my history is a little weird. I don't know if you care, but probably not, but maybe it'll be a decent bedtime story. Basically, I did a comedy show for years, and I played a character that was really over the top and, kind of like a raving lunatic, like a redneck that would just go off and, say outlandish stuff that made people laugh because he was so unfiltered, And it was all improvised on the spot. Like, none of it was scripted, but like I had little, joke bits and stuff. And it was obviously a comedy show, and some people didn't get it, and they just thought I was serious, and it just got a little too upset about it here and there. But I didn't care. No matter what you do in life, people are gonna, find reasons to not like you. So I just accepted that early on. But basically, I would watch pretty much reality TV and a show called Catfish, which has now kind of gone down the toilet from what I've heard after I stopped watching it. And I was like, thank God people don't like it now, because I don't like it either. I got so tired of watching it. It was the same thing over and over. It was always the exact same story every time without fail. It was so boring, and not even in a sleep boring way, and a, oh my God, just please make this show go away boring. So that show was Social Catfish. You might have seen it if you're into the romance scam stuff, and I just kind of stumbled on it and thought I was going to make one video and ended up making 100 that are all in the vault now. But I just got to the point I just was looking at it, and I eventually, this is how bad it got. It got so bad that people wanted me to watch Catfish to make fun of it and all that, because I had done it for like 100 episodes and people still wanted it, still do. And I was just like, every time I would turn on a Social Catfish video, I would just be like, ugh. Like, I almost get sick. Not like vomiting sick, like this is disgusting. No, I would just be like, oh God, not this again. And I was just miserable, and I just stopped doing it. I finally just was like, I'm done. I can't watch this anymore. It's too boring. Because I'll tell you exactly how it goes every time. Some old lady thinks she's dating a celebrity every single time, almost every time. Or she's like, it's usually somebody that's older, like in their 60s or 70s, and nothing wrong with, the elderly people. We all get old. But these people, for some reason, forgot that they're that age, and all of a sudden, they're like 70 trying to hook up online with somebody that is basically like 25, and they're like 70. And they fall for the scam that this 25-year-old, who's not even real, by the way, they're never real. It's always a catfish from Nigeria, is basically draining their bank account, like with like fake sob stories. Like, oh, I need money for this, I need money for that, and I got this bad thing to happen. Please send me 50 grand. And these older people will just do it. Is that it for that build? Really? No? Okay. That's they still gonna do the interior. Very pretty though. But anyway, back on topic about the catfish thing. But it's always like some older person. Nothing wrong with the old folks. I love my elderly viewers. I really do. Y'all are so sweet. But these elderly people are like awful. Basically, they believe that this 20-something-year-old woman that's very attractive, that any man, will be lucky to have wants them, and they end up sending hundreds of thousands of dollars to these fake people that they think they're in a relationship with. And then it's always the same thing. It's like, that's the setup, right? And every video it's the same thing. And then it's always like this whole thing with this sad story of, oh, I was in a bad marriage and my husband died, and I was lonely, on and on, every single time. And they have the sad music or the Chrono Trigger music that was just really, really out of place. Like, they'll just put like this little sort of Chrono Trigger sounding music in the background, and it was so formulaic. And it eventually was like, every episode went like this. Such and such, it thinks that they're dating some famous person. Sometimes it's Mark Zuckerberg, sometimes a lot of Jennifer Aniston, victims and all that. And it would always be someone that's super delusional, really believing that they're dating the real person. And obviously they weren't, but they would send hundreds of thousands of dollars to these people. So the show starts. That's really cool. I like that. The little, that's really neat. That's really pretty. Anyway, show starts. Person's like, well, I think I'm dating this celebrity. Well, okay, well, we're going to find out what happened. And then they just tell their sad life story. It's always the same thing. It's always, my husband died, 20 years ago, and I've been lonely ever since. And, then this person showed up on Facebook and said I was pretty, and on, right? And then they go into this whole thing about how much money they lost and how much money they spent. And, the same thing over and over. It's always the scammer lost, the celebrity, quote unquote, the fake celebrity apparently lost access to their bank account, or they're broke, or they, they got trapped in a foreign country and they need money to get out, or they're under some contract where they can't use their money because their management. It's always something where they have to send them money, and the people fall for it and they do it. And then basically it's like this, quote unquote investigation, which is so silly to even call it that, where they'll do a reverse image search and they'll, obviously find that it's not the celebrity or the person that they think they're talking to. And then it's like, they'll send the scammer an IP grabber, which is like a link that you click on where somebody can trace where your computer is, basically, where you are, right? And it's always Lagos, Nigeria, or Ghana. It's almost like, it's literally became such a point that during the live streams I would say, all right, everybody, place your bets in chat. Are we gonna get another Lagos side Nigeria? I'm going with Lagos, blah blah blah, acting like it's actually going to be something different. It never was. It was like Ghana maybe twice out of 100 episodes. It was always Lagos, Nigeria, or there's a Cape something out there in Nigeria, but it's always Nigeria every single time. And it's never the real person, ever. That is, all right, I love that. Hold on, I gotta see how that's done. Dude. So they literally took stairs and put them in like a circle to make a tub. That is gorgeous. I love that. A tripwire hook. Ooh, dude, that is so cool. I love it. I know that's what I mean. That's wow. That is so creative. How are they gonna make a toilet? I've been wondering forever. How do you make a toilet in Minecraft? I guess some stairs and well, that's gonna be the sink, or some trapdoors to have. Okay, I see. It's just wild. No, but it's always the same thing every time. Like, it literally, it's never the person in the picture, and it's always some scammer, in Nigeria, every single time. Never fails. And I just get sick of that after 100 episodes. I'm just like, oh my God. And it's always, the only thing that varied was if the person was cheating on their current partner or not. And I would say about 70% of the time they were. Like, that they would basically be in an unhappy marriage and they'll be cheating with the catfish and stealing all of their husband's money or wife's money, and that's pretty much it. That's the show. bad people stealing money from their husband to give to a scammer who's stealing it from them. Is this another tub or, yeah, I think it's another tub. Is that supposed to be like a sink or something? Is that a toilet or, I think it's a toilet. I guess that's the sink. Okay. Anyway. You don't even use a toilet in Minecraft, but it would be nice if they would actually add recipes for furniture at this point. I mean, how long has this game been going? And they need to get some type of... Maybe there's a mod or something where you can, like, craft furniture from different blocks or whatever. Like, you can make stairs, in the game, like, right there. But, yeah, I just got sick of that. I was just like, ugh, Like, how many times can you watch the same show with the exact same outcome where it's never different? And eventually the audience got sick of it, and I got sick of it, and even, I think people were starting to get sick of the original show too. And recently, all right, that's awesome to have that as a couch. I didn't never think about that either. Using stairs to make a little couch. I love it. Very, very, very creative. Very creative. Love that. But yeah, it's just you just get sick of it. But like the social catfish thing, I think is starting to collapse really because I hate to say this, but it looks like the hosts of the show have had some type of falling out where it looks like the owners of the company are actually about to get a divorce. That's what the speculation is. And I hope that's not the case, but that's their thing. And they're the ones that put it out there, which it shouldn't have been out there. Saying the whole, well, I don't want anybody to speculate on what's going on with us or whatever. It's like, well, you shouldn't have told anybody anything was happening. You should have literally, like, if you wanted this to be quiet, you should have said, yeah, Brienne wants to focus on home life, and she's gonna also be working in the background doing like office stuff instead of being like a host on the show. Like, I mean, that's what she said she was gonna do on Instagram anyway. But the way the people who run the YouTube channel side did it, they're like, oh, she ain't gonna work here no more at all. All right, that's creative. I like that. But yeah, that's what it was. It was like, oh, we don't want any speculation. It's like, but you literally just said she's gonna quit, and she's like the co-host of the show. There's like 4 hosts. There's David, Brienne, Drew, and there's one more. I think. Well, there was a Bree for a while, but she left. There was another one. I forgot who the other one was. Maybe it was just David, Brienne, and Drew. Well, from what I heard, and I can't find anything on this. Somebody in my Discord server, link in the description, by the way, said that Drew was actually suing David, who is the owner of Social Catfish, for like bad pay or, not being paid properly or something, and also discrimination apparently. I don't know. I've not seen anything proving that, but that's what I heard. I mean, he's determined that that's happened, and that's awesome. That's awesome. The little table, I like that. Very creative with the stairs. I didn't really think about stairs being used as furniture, but a very interesting build out. I keep saying that, but it really does amaze me, some of the creative little things they do. So I think that's the end of that one. So this one is called the Making a Modern House in Minecraft tutorial. So we're going to move on to the next one, but this link will be in the description if you would like to follow their guide. I'm going to just make a little notepad right here. House 1, there you go. And I'll also have timestamps of the different builds, so you can, like, if you want to come back and watch a different house being built, or you just want to skip ahead to the next house, you can do that in the description, of course, in all my videos. But anything I do, the watch series has timestamps on the other projects if you want to watch them. Let's move on to the next one. Now we move on to this cozy little cottage here, and we'll see how they build this out. This is a lot more, well, pretty, and, you know, I think it looks really pretty. I'd never be able to build it, but I do appreciate those who can, and that's quite nice, you know. Once again, if you would like to join our Minecraft server, there is a link in the description so you can join us and build beautiful stuff like this that will be featured on the show if we eventually get traction with this. So if you would like to see this particular original build and follow along with it, you can do so by clicking the link in the description to this particular build. I wonder if they sit there with like a piece of graph paper and just, because, you know, Minecraft is block by block, so it is, you know, basically like Legos. I wonder if people would sit there and they just like take the graphing paper and draw out the shape of the house and the different sides, basically, like wherever, you know, to plan out more or less. See, I don't have the attention or the creativity to do that, but I know that I do have some people in the Discord server that do build beautiful things like this, and I'm hoping that they'll just join the server and build in there at some point. We'll see what happens, but it is a members only thing, and I'm trying to keep it that mainly because I'm the one paying for hosting, and you know, if the videos do bad, you know, I still had to pay for the server, especially if the server, you know, grows and becomes a very big server at any point. I have to be able to afford having a server with like 100 people, you know, doing stuff in it, which is going to cost a fortune. But if I'm, you know, every person's paying $5 chipping in, then it'll, you know, justify it basically. And people can make their own videos from inside the server too, of course. This show is all about community, right? That's the whole point. We want to build a cozy little community. The Cozy Crew, as we're calling it right this second. We'll see what happens with that over time. But yeah, right now it's just called the Cozy Crew. And you know, if you enjoy my show and you subscribe, you're part of it. So that's what I do, is I basically will put down like the dark blocks and then put like the stairs up against it to act like sort of like shingles. Or just like a slanted roof period, really. Not necessarily shingles, but my current house has shingles, but they're supposed to eventually put down a metal roof. We're not doing it right now because way too hot, and I don't think anybody wants to roof in July, and I don't blame them. You know, 97 degrees out there, and we're putting a metal roof on the house, so I don't want to kill anybody. You know, I feel like if you literally hire somebody to put a metal roof on someone's house, I mean, unless it's like flooding or something, even then put a tarp over it, because putting any type of roof on, you know, in this Virginia heat, just brutal. Just as hot as it gets here. Oh my God. You know, people talk about Arizona being hot, which I'm sure it is, but this summer, boy, we're talking like near, like sometimes at 100, even 101 full humidity, 90% humidity, 100 degrees. And that makes it feel like 120 outside with humidity. So even if you are used to 100+ degrees in Arizona, that's still a dry heat. Like, you can escape a dry heat from what I hear, you know. What's kind of weird, actually, I've heard a little mix about that. I've heard that in Arizona, it's kind of like, I've never been to Arizona yet, but, you know, I wouldn't mind just seeing what the desert's like one time. Probably would never want to live there, but, because I just like where I live. I like, you know, living in the forest, basically, and, you know, the hills and the trees, and, you know, if you look on the left or right anywhere on the road, you know, you pretty much see like someone's wallpaper on their computer because of how pretty it is here. You know, and everything's so lively and colorful. Especially the night sky is just absolutely gorgeous here. So nature is definitely, you know, special here in the South. So no, but I heard that yeah, that 120 out there in Arizona, that's pretty rough. But I've heard that if you walk into your house, like the dry air follows you. And like, you know, it's pretty rough. Like it'll follow you and you have to run like a humidifier, like 24/7 year round kind of thing. And that doesn't sound very, very good to me. But the same could be said for a wet heat like here, where it's like so mega humid outside. Like it gets so humid here that you can literally see the air. Like you can see the air. It's like the air looks like mist, like a fog. Like it's like bright and sunny, but there's like a fog that like covers everything, you know? And that like that's how humid it gets here. It's like you can literally see like I've also heard that that part of that fog is the smoke from up there in Canada, and I really hope that the people that are up there get out safely and, you know, nothing terrible happens to your place. Obviously, I'm very sad to hear that, and I looked it up, and it actually was, I didn't realize how big it was. I thought it was just like one forest, but apparently almost the entire, like almost everywhere in Canada is on fire, like woods wise, you know, like when they showed the map, it was like almost every part of Canada, like it was just like fire everywhere, except for like near the border, which give me a tiny bit of comfort because that means that the majority of the people who do live near the border are okay, but also the fact that there's a lot of people up north of that that are not okay. So just wherever you are, I hope you're safe and okay. That's all I'm saying. That is quite pretty. Decorating was never my strong suit. I know some people love those games like House Flipper and stuff like that, where they can decorate houses and like clean up stuff. And I just, you know, I know people love that pressure washer simulator game, and I tried to do one video on it and I got so bored that I couldn't do it, you know. I just was not a fan. I understand why people like it. I just personally, I couldn't enjoy it enough to make a video on it that was very long, you know. I see the appeal, it's just not for me. That's okay. You know, Minecraft is for me. I love Minecraft. And many of my favorite memories as a gamer have been Minecraft stories. You know, of old servers I was in, friends that I had, builds that we did. It really is like, you know, crappy little builds I did, like the underwater mob spawner that didn't work. That was one. Is that an elevator? No, it's scaffolds. That's cool. That is cool though. They have a little scaffold thing, yeah. Whereas like some of my favorite YouTube memories were watching Minecraft videos, you know, from Yogscast and Cat Bros and Sips and all that, you know, watching their stuff all the time, and mega fan of all that. Still love it. You know, one of my favorite comfort series really is the Duncan Tekkit series, where, you know, it's very like, I don't think he was even intending for it to be a cozy, sleepy kind of thing, but it was just so laid back, and he was basically just showing you how to do all these different machines and little projects, and I found that super cozy, especially when I was sick. And it was like unintentionally cozy, I guess. And I just remember once he put some type of mob killer in the ground. Like it was like a zapper block that, like, if a mob got near his house, like a creeper would, kill it. And he ended up getting locked out of his own house because it kept zapping him. And I think he eventually had to figure out how to get up under the ground and break it so it would stop killing him. Because every time he would like get near, like he'd be working on something and get near it and then zap and he would just die. It was hilarious. So stupid. So I always enjoyed that. I like Duncan. I don't know. I hope that nothing controversial has happened regarding him that'll make that sound like a bad statement. But as of right now, on 7/18/26, I have no idea if he's even there anymore or does anything. But I liked his videos. And I like Sips and Shen, but I heard Shen got into a little bit of a stinker with, some drama going on there that I don't want to get into or even think about. But, he ain't there no more. And that's a shame that he got in some drama or whatever happened. I can't remember. Something to do with a fan and him and just, I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm not going to speculate on those sort of things. That's not what this is for. I'm just kind of sitting here watching it build and trying to keep you company and talk about whatever comes to mind and try to give you a nice, relaxing atmosphere to get lost in, while we watch these beautiful builds. Yeah, I don't like drama at all. Drama is just, ugh. The way I've seen it is if someone does something bad, they should be held accountable. And if they did something illegal, they should be, depending on what it is, they should be handled by law enforcement, not us. I don't believe in cancellations and all that. I think that if someone did something, illegal or something like that, that they should basically just be fired from their job that they're doing, that they were using to facilitate said illegal thing. And if it's serious enough, then let the police handle it, not us. That's the way I see drama. If someone just says something rude or awful, just stop watching them. I think it takes too much investment on a personal level for us to seek out or try to hold these people accountable. Unless if there was scamming fans, that's illegal. And that should be something that you deal with your bank and law enforcement, depending on, how it happened. But if someone just has a bad opinion, that's not illegal, it's just a bad opinion, just don't watch them. I mean, if you don't like them anymore, they offended you or they said something wrong or did something wrong, just stop supporting them. That's the consequence. That is how you hold them accountable. You don't need to go out there and start a crusade or we hate this person, they're always terrible, we need to get them banned or whatever. No, just stop watching them. As they used to say, let the free marketplace of ideas correct the wrong things. Because if someone has a truly bad opinion that is very detrimental, then they'll naturally lose support, which means they lose money. And they'll have to correct, or they'll have to just lose. They'll just have to lose their platform. And that's the punishment for doing anything, unethical, really. And a good way to put that is vote with your wallet. That's I think what the term used to be, is vote with your wallet, basically. So a game company does something or says something you don't like, don't buy their games. YouTuber does something you don't like, stop watching them. Because the thing is, I feel like when someone does, a lot of creators actually do this, they will get canceled or something will happen where they get in trouble with the public. Whether it's illegal or not, it doesn't really matter. And these people will be like, oh, I got a ton of attention. I got a ton of views. I got a ton of money and subscribers and, new support because of this stupid thing that I did that offended all these people, but it also gave me money because people came to complain and, call me out for it. And they see this as a reward, which it is at that point. You trying to call them out and all of that gives them a reward because they're getting paid now based on people trying to, do something like that. So if it's not illegal, my whole thing is just stop watching them, call out what they did and then stop watching them. No crusades, no big blow ups, no, documentaries, none of that. Just literally, stop watching them and encourage others to, in private. Don't make a spectacle of it, because that's how these people eventually, pivot and then use their notoriety to create a lot of money and a whole brand where they continue to do the bad thing and hurt innocent people because they get paid to now after they get their infamy. You see what I'm saying? Voting with your wallet is a lot better because there's a lot of YouTubers out there that will do things, and harass people in public and do all this sort of stuff because they know it'll get them views. And they don't care that people hate them. They just love the fact that they're rich for being awful. Because people reward some of these people who are awful with attention. If nobody watches a person's videos, then they don't get any money. They don't get the attention. They don't get the fame, the sponsorships, the clout, the influence. They lose it, That's why, luckily, I've seen when someone does something, worthy of being canceled, they generally see a massive dip in viewership if what they did was like universally awful. But then you have the drama merchants that'll basically, their entire brand is basically profiting off of the controversy and, encouraging it even, by, I don't want to name anybody because I don't want to give them any attention. If this thing gets 1 million views, which it won't, if it does, though, I don't want to give anybody any views. They're bad people, I mean. I gotta be careful with that, but let's just say person A made their content harassing people in public. That's a popular thing right now. They go out in public and they'll just, be really loud and obnoxious and pick fights with random strangers and, whatever, that kind of thing, right? I mean, that's pretty common. And if you react to that saying, oh, it's so terrible that they do this, blah, 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 they know that. They know it's terrible to do that. And you just gave them more views, subscribers, money, attention, validation that what they were doing that was bad gives them a reward. They do something bad and they get what they want, which is money and attention and all that other stuff. And they basically become like internet villains. They get paid to be awful. So I feel like when you're trying to do the whole public call out thing, it's better just to say, frame it in a way where it will not give them any type of benefit from it. Just say, like, instead of being like, throwing a big fit and doing documentaries and anything flashy that gives them a new audience, just say, you know what, that's screwed up, disavow, and, don't watch that. Or don't recommend that. Or just don't say anything and just block it. Block it and starve it of oxygen, as we used to say. If you starve, if a person does something bad and you starve them of the attention / oxygen that keeps their toxicity alive, then you really solve the problem that way, without having to be dragged into the middle of it, right? Because some people just thrive on chaos and negativity. Okay, move on to the next one. All right, let's move on to a little cozy castle build. It's a little bit different. Also, an extra little thing a bit different is I now have a co-host on this show. And before you back out thinking, oh, he's bringing in somebody else I don't want to watch anymore. No. Sit there for a second. Just relax. Listen, hear me out. My co-host can't talk at all. She is unable to talk, but she is my little co-host, and she's usually in the background of the videos, and that is my puppa. I said that, she looked right back at me like, hey, what you want? You say my name, what you want? She really does think her name is that now. Puppa. And she decided that she wanted to come for a visit and look out the window, and I went out there and opened the door to see, just to look outside for packages, and it is so hot. It is so hot and so thick that I could not breathe opening my front door. Like, I started feeling like I was being strangled almost. And I was just like, all right, girl, we ain't going nowhere today. Usually she stays inside anyway, but like sometimes I'll let her out on the porch to, look around or whatever. She doesn't really go off the porch. She just likes to look around at the, sniff the air and look at the trees and stuff like that. She doesn't really wander. But right now she has my left hand pinned like she always does. I'm surprised she's letting me talk into the microphone without knocking it away from me, because usually she wants, 100% on her. But she's a very sweet baby. She's only 9 years old right now, and she does like to sit in on the show, and she likes to have her own space sometimes too. We have little blocks of time we spend together, and it's really more her decision than mine. When she wants to come sit, she wants to come sit. She's the boss of the house. She's also the baby. I love my puppa. She's so pretty. She is a black and brown weenie dog. So she, like, if you just look up weenie dog in the on Google, you'll pretty much probably see something that looks really close to her. Or you can just look at my banner on Twitter, or even this channel probably has the banner of her now again, or if it doesn't, I'll probably change it later. But she is pretty much black all over. Like, all of her fur is black except for her muzzle, I guess you would call it. Like the part that's like her mouth and her nose, that's brown, but the rest of her is black. And she has little brown eyebrows. She's just the prettiest little thing you ever seen. She's the sweetest little thing you ever seen. She just, she's still a weenie, so she does have a little bit of, bark and spunk in her, but, she's absolutely like the sweetest little angel when she knows somebody's okay. So she's a little shy at first. She's never been mean, never bit nobody, but she is a little bit of a shy girl when she meets somebody new, and she gets a little shy and, almost a little scared of new people. But as soon as she realizes that they're okay and they talk sweet to her, she'll open up and just be the sweetest little thing, just wanting to, sit in their lap and give them kisses or follow them around and, just inspect whatever they're doing. And just, she's really good with kids too. She's always been good with kids. I got a couple of nephews actually that would come over, and she would hang out with them all the time, and she loved them. And I remember one time one of my nephews came in with a scratch on his leg, and I don't know what he was doing, but one way or another he had a little scratch on his leg that was bleeding a little bit, just like a single drop. And Papa ran right over to him, and she was just looking at him and sniffing it and trying to fix it, and just, oh my God, she was like a little nurse. And the boy was like, oh, it's okay, girl, it's okay, girl. And Papa's like, nope, we have to look at this and make sure that you're okay. So she's like a little nurse. She just loves everybody. She's a very sweet girl. Her brother, God rest his soul, is a sweet boy too. He had a heart tumor that just took my baby boy, He was my buddy. He was my little boy. He was my little man. And he used to call him the prettiest man in the whole wide world, and he was. He looked just like her, but he was like skinnier and his muzzle was brighter. But they look so similar. The dad used to have to pick them both up and check for which part they had to figure out which one he was holding for a long time. And I think he eventually figured out which one was which because Papa got a lot bigger than he was. Like the girls, when you get them fixed, they usually blow up at some point. I don't know why. They just get fat after a while. You know, their appetite skyrockets or something. Or I don't know if the hormones get all mixed up where they just get bigger. But Bubba stayed pretty much skinny most of his life. Well, relatively skinny. But yeah, that heart tumor eventually took my baby, and you know, on my birthday of all days, and that was last year, and I still miss him. I got endless pictures and videos of both of them. Like, you know, I might take a picture of Papa like at least once a day. You know, I don't date him or anything, or try to be like Papa on this day, Papa on that day. I don't do that, but it's like I don't know. I just see her and she looks so cute, and I just grab my phone and click. You know, just take a little picture of her. So I got probably thousands. I don't know. A lot. An outrageous amount. She's been a good baby. She's a very good girl. She makes a lot of messes though, but weenies make messes. They really do. They are, you know, they're great at two things: making messes and giving you that side eye. That judgment side eye that they give you, that she's giving me right now. I just said it. You little monster. You side eyeing you, daddy. Are you judging me? I judge. I judge you. You over here talking about me. I'm gonna judge you. You judge. I judge. That's just what they do. It's just. I looked it up. I didn't know if all dogs side eye because I'm not around dogs enough to see it, but. I asked Gemini, the Google AI, if weenie dogs were like the only dogs that side-eyed, you know, give you the side eye where they kind of look at you from the side and you can see their whites in their eye. They call it a whale eye, I think. Like a whale, like, you know, the thing in the ocean eye. And it said all dogs are able to give you the side eye, but weenies are like the masters of it. Like they're like the... They're the ones that'll judge you the most, pretty much. Like that they're famous for it. It's like one of their trademarks is the side eye. And I was just like, that's kind of funny. It really is. They do that. They can give you some looks. They really can. And it's kind of weird. Me and her we're around each other. She give me the side eye again right there. You little monster. Oh, you're judging your daddy all the time. Even though she loved me. She loved daddy. But she judged me a lot. But, the thing is, like, a weenie dog will do something silly and then judge you for it. That's just how they are. They'll judge you after you notice them do something silly or cute. I would actually host a Minecraft server myself because I got a NAS in there that could probably. Well, the NAS only has 6 gigs. They could run a server, but it wouldn't be a very big one. Also, I don't want to give out my server's IP because I have a lot of stuff on there I need to keep hidden. But you know, like legal documents and stuff like that. You know, stuff with my actual information on it that I'm not trying to let out there because identity theft and all the other stuff that could happen, you know. You never know. But One thing that I never really gripped until right now about Minecraft builds is the fact that they don't really build it as a place that you would live in the game, like as a home base. They build it as if it's like just like a project, something to look at, but not something to actually live in. But at the same time, Minecraft isn't really about building a house to live in. It's about building, well, really anything you want, or building nothing. They have all the different, mini games and skyblock and challenge maps and adventure maps and all the other stuff. Minecraft really is less a game and more of an engine for you to create your own games. It's kind of like Roblox before Roblox was a thing. I've never played Roblox yet. Well, actually I did a little bit. I think I played like the obstacle course for a few minutes, and then I don't know, I got distracted and never booted it up again. But I can see why some people enjoy Roblox, but I don't know. I just never gave it a full chance yet. Never figured out what exactly it was until someone said it was basically Gary's mod, but like Minecraft at the same time kind of thing. Like it has like Gary's mod kind of games, but it's like Minecraft kind of graphics and, the adventure map kind of thing that they do. And maybe we'll do adventure maps at some point. Cozy little adventures in Minecraft if people wanted it. My only real issue with making Minecraft content is it's so saturated that it's basically impossible to get views. But I'll say, if you do support this channel, likes, subscribe, share it, comments, all that, and the algorithm does show some attention to the Minecraft stuff I've already done, then I'll obviously do more of it. But if YouTube just keeps burying it, I obviously can't justify hours and hours of my life working on something that will never grow versus, projects with less known titles, or retro titles even, that are more growth oriented. Because the thing is, it's not that I'm here for the money, but I'm here for the audience, and I want to make things that get views, because if I get views, that means people are watching the content, enjoying it, falling asleep, and having a better life because of my work. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's sort of like, if you invent a product that, is literally has 0 calories, tastes incredible, and it's like happiness in a bottle. You obviously want as many people as possible to be able to see and drink your happiness in a bottle kind of thing, You don't want it to just sit on a shelf in your house and never be seen or never experienced by anybody. The money and all that stuff, that comes, like, if I was only here for money, I'll be doing this, which is, some type of no commentary build stuff that, I guess they care too about the audience and want to help people sleep. But I don't know. I think I overshot that a bit, but I see what they're doing. That's actually kind of nice. They obviously work very hard to plan this and, record this and edit it and render it and make all the, it probably takes quite a bit to do these projects, and they get rewarded for it, My thing is, like, it's like if nobody sees, your video can be the best video ever that'll make everybody fall asleep instantly, and the entire world will benefit from it, and it'll make nicer things happen, it'll do people good, even if it's just a few, but if nobody sees it or knows it exists, then your work pretty much doesn't help anybody. And I don't want that. This isn't a passion project where I just want to, make videos for 10 people. I want to help as many people as possible. And I mean, really, it's a mixture of luck and you helping. And, you know, all you have to do is like, subscribe, and, you know, watch. That's it, really. You know, nobody really knows what makes YouTube promote one person over another. You know, even Oprah is having issues actually getting views, which is kind of crazy. I saw one of her videos and I was like, Oprah, I didn't know she was still doing anything. I knew she was alive, but obviously if she passed away, it'll be a huge event and everybody would hear about it. But no, I was like, I didn't know I thought she retired. I mean, she's been around since, like, you know, the early 80s. You know, I figured she had, you know, made her money and she was done, but no, she's still interviewing people on her YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel has like 1 million subscribers. Good for her. You know, seems like a nice woman. And I don't know if she might be evil like Ellen DeGeneres turned out to be. I don't know. But, you know, she has her channel and she interviews these people, but she's like getting like 5,000 views. And I'm just like, wow, if even Oprah, the woman that's like worth $1 billion, probably the first black billionaire ever in the entire country, maybe not, I don't know if that's true or not, but how she's one of the most famous, if not the most famous for the head, you know, being a super mega rich and super mega successful, you know, with her show and all that. It's like if even she and her staff that she has working with her can't figure out the algorithm and can't talk YouTube into promoting her stuff more than her getting 5K views, it just sounds like nobody knows, you know? And when I see these channels that are talking about, oh, if you do this, you know, the algorithm will give you more views or whatever, I don't believe that. Because you know what I think? I think it's basically, if you think that you understand it, then you're lying. You just are. Because if you understood how the algorithm worked, and, you know, if you understood how to make it give you views, then you would basically be exploiting that as much as possible to get, you know, billions of views. You would basically force yourself to become bigger than Mr. Beast. You know, even he has videos that don't do that great compared to his other videos. You know, like he has videos that get way more views than others, you know? So it's like, if you knew the secret formula that made YouTube promote you, you know, and give you millions of views, then, you know, and it's repeatable, you would obviously scale this up to become a billionaire or even more. But like, you see these channels are like, you know, oh, if you do this, the algorithm will love you. But it's like, you look at their channel and they got like 50,000 subscribers. It's like, if you do that, why isn't your video getting 100 million views? If you've cracked the code and you understand it, you know, it's like a broke person trying to explain to you how to become a millionaire. I mean, I'm sure that they've read a book by a millionaire that can tell you what he thinks he did, but that doesn't mean, if you know how to be a millionaire, why are you not a millionaire? Kind of, you know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. If you're not a millionaire, you know, why not? If you know how to do it, why aren't you one? If you're going to teach me how to do it, why are you not that? I mean, if, you know, it's just not, it's not a thing. I'm not saying that YouTube isn't, you know, skill at all, that, you know, there's a person that makes, you know, objectively bad content should not, you know, like, that's the thing, man. You know, like, some people that are huge and famous are awful people that do awful stuff and their content's awful and unwatchable crap. You got other people who make beautiful content that nobody sees because it just wasn't blessed. But if you really want me to hammer home the idea that you can't understand the algorithm, think about this. YouTube is basically the lottery. Okay, it's better odds than the lottery because there is some strategy built into it, a little bit, you know. But it's still based on pure luck. Your odds are just a lot better. And there really is no rhyme or reason for why the lottery picks a winner. It just does, you know? And that's how I see YouTube, is a lottery. Every video you put in is a lottery ticket. And the more relevant your video, you know, or the more, like the only thing you can really control is title, topic, thumbnail. If you pick a good title and a good topic and a good thumbnail, then it's completely lottery. It's luck after that. So you have a better odd because you can pick something that would get views, but you can't say, if I use these magic spell and keywords in the description, I'm going to get views. It doesn't work that way. And people will try to sell that and scam people saying that, oh, if you do exactly what I say, you'll get like, you know, tons and tons of views. It's like, okay, why didn't you do that? You know, where's your tons and tons? Prove it. That's the way I see it, man. I mean, just don't let nobody tell you that, like, the reason I'm even bringing this up is I just remember this one soundbite from Mr. Beast that I always hated, and I brought it up in multiple videos. It's, your videos suck and that's why you don't get views, and, you know, if you improve your videos, you'll get views, and, you know, replace algorithm with audience and it makes sense and all this stuff. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't. Sorry, he doesn't. He doesn't. He's pushed, but he's coming from a point of view of someone that is already, you know, super big. Like, he's talking to you from the top of the tower. And the thing is, the algorithm has blessed him, you know, and he's friends with the people that run the website. So obviously they're going to push him. Just like all these people on Twitch. They're not doing anything special to be the biggest Twitch streamer, but they're friends with the staff, and the staff promote them. Now, did they start out friends with the staff? Probably not. And they probably did work to get to that higher spot, right? I'm not saying they didn't do anything to deserve it, but I'm saying their continued success happens because they have an inside person that pushes their stuff. If the algorithm didn't show Mr. Beast videos to anybody, then he wouldn't get any views. But it does. Because he is blessed by the staff and by the people that run the company. You know? That's the thing. When the company is on your side and you're their spokesperson, or you're the, you know, you're the big honcho or whatever you want to call him, like the big guy, you know, that they know that when you post it, you'll make them money, they're gonna promote you. But it's not you and your skill and your keywords and your, even your ideas or your video. Like, you know, he acts like it's all objective based, as if you make the best video ever made, it's gonna get views no matter what. And it's like, that's not true. Because I know a lot of people that would say Mr. Beast videos are unwatchable because they're, you know, hyper retention, you know, the ADHD editing, I guess you could call it, and people just don't like the big spectacle. They want to watch this, what I'm doing, you know? And maybe to someone, this video sucks because I'm talking about this stuff instead of just, you know, shutting up and playing rain sound. And some people may think it's the greatest thing ever because I'm an honest dude that just doesn't really care and doesn't care if I offend people. I just talk about whatever I want and hope it helps you relax. And it's like, you know, it's, I'm not saying his videos are bad or he's a bad person, but I'm saying the idea that the reason you don't get views or you're not successful is because you suck and your videos are awful. I hate that concept because there are so many great channels that I watch that barely get any views. A good example, Mage Masher, love him, amazing. He's a RPG guy. He does like JRPGs, you know. And I thought that he would have hundreds of thousands of subs. He has like 30K, and he's been going for like 10 years, and he's amazing at it. You know, Gopher, probably my favorite Let's Play channel of all time, gets 3,000 or 4,000 views per video. The dude is like the absolute best Fallout channel of all time. There's nobody that comes close to as good as Gopher is at the immersion, at that, in the immersive storytelling Fallout series, where he basically takes Fallout New Vegas and turns it into almost like a TV show. And he's amazing, but he gets like 3,000 views a video. It's not quality, because like saying, oh, it's quality is because your videos suck. Are you telling me that my favorite YouTubers that are like way more entertaining and way more fun to watch and more, that are not, a big old game show spectacle circus are just, not getting huge because they suck? And I hate that mentality of, if you're good at it, you'll win. I'm just like, yeah, I'm sure that there's plenty of basketball players that were as good, if not better than Michael Jordan, that never made it anywhere. Because wrong place, wrong time, wrong era, wrong university, or they just gave up and did something else. You know what I mean? There are plenty of guitar, people that are like, incredible guitar players that could probably outrun the best shredders you've ever heard, and you never hear about them because they just didn't get there. If quality is what grew channels, we wouldn't have these garbage channels that make viral content harassing people in public, or being super toxic, or being arrested constantly for stupid public stunts. Like, they would not be famous if it was a quality thing. It's not. It's luck. The way I see it is, here's a good way to put it. I feel like if you make really bad quality videos, you most likely won't get anywhere. If you make just like abysmal 144p, I'm not even gonna say that because there's probably videos out there that are like that too. Let's back up. Think that getting an audience is luck. 100%. It's luck. And because if quality was a thing, everybody would have a famous Minecraft channel, but they don't. There's hundreds if not thousands of Minecraft channels that get 0 views, that they make videos just like this one and they get like 0 views after all this work. It sucks, but it's true. Very true. And it's impossible to find them too. I was gonna do a thing where I would basically promote smaller Minecraft YouTubers, hoping that if one of my videos blew up, it would promote them and give them an audience. But the thing is, YouTube has made it where you can't even find low view channels anymore. There used to be, you could actually look at newer content that was low views, but they got rid of that. So now it's actually really hard to find anyone that doesn't get views, which is a shame, because everyone deserves a chance, really, regardless of what their content quality is. The marketplace will handle if they're good or bad. Getting hot in here. Pupper, are you getting hot? Getting a little hot, ain't it? So hot out there. God, I opened that door and it was just like, I just felt like a swimming pool just hit me in the face with like 100-degree water. It was just bad. I was just like, ugh. I had to move this pupper and get that AC running hotter because that. Let me see really quick. I'm going to check what the weather is. Hold on. I'll tell you. It wasn't as bad as I was thinking because it said it's 89 right now. It's going to be 94 later. Feels like it's a lot hotter than that. Maybe I'm just hot because I got this puppa next to me and she's, running a bit hot. She hasn't been feeling good lately, by the way. She's doing a lot better though. I know people were wondering that may watch the other videos here and that she's not feeling good, but she's okay now. She just had some stomach upset and she needed to get her diet changed basically, and they gave her some medicine to help her with her belly issues, and I haven't, ever since it's like day 2 I've given her that diet that the doctor told me to give her, and she seems to like it a lot. It's white rice and plain air fried chicken. Now, I don't mean like fried as in breaded. I mean chicken as in just raw chicken breast, no salt, pepper, nothing on it, just 100% plain, just basically flavorless almost chicken. No spices, no oil, nothing. You just throw it in the oven or the air fryer and you cook it raw, and cook it from raw to cooked, and you give it to her plain, because that, because she's a weenie dog. You don't want to give her anything spicy because it'll tear her stomach up again. That, and along with plain white rice. And I've been doing that, and she eats it, gobbles it up, and seems to really enjoy it. And, she's taking her medicine like she should, thankfully. And, she feels a lot better now. So, me and my girl, we're just fine. We're going to be just fine, pup. What do you think? Gonna be fine. She's asleep. She's taking a nap on the arm of my chair. I'm sitting in a recliner, by the way. I always sit in a recliner when I do these, and she's laying on the arm of the chair looking out the window, or maybe she's asleep. My sweet baby. She loves daddy. She come back here all the time. Like when I'm working, she'll sit outside of my room, and sometimes she'll whine at me like, hey, let me in. But I'm like, Papa, I gotta work. She's like, nope, you ain't gotta work. No work. You open this door and let me in. Just strongly recommend making a moat. Okay, well, they just zap to the moat. I would have liked seeing them build the moat part, actually. That would have been, I like that a lot. That moat is really pretty. Look at that. That's my favorite part right there, is that little moat. And if you put some little fish in there, like some koi fish or something, or whatever fish are in Minecraft, that'd be nice, man. I like that a lot. I mean, I wish they would have done the interior a bit more and, put some beds and furniture in there. But hey, it's a nice looking video. All right, let's move on to the next one. See what happens. Let's move on to a modern mansion build. This is going to be a much bigger, much nicer house. I believe it's going to be interior and exterior. So just lay back and relax. And let's get into this one next. Once again, if you enjoy this video that I'm doing, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel quite a bit. I believe in the algorithm. Not exactly sure, but definitely do so just in case. You never know what it wants, but I guess it still works or does something. So, just a quick note, for the people who say they have 10,000 subscribers or close to it, the reason the videos don't get as many views, and maybe this was dated horribly, which would be nice if that's true. That's awesome, actually. I love that. Making the pool where it's like has little steps down. That's cool. Love it. Okay, whole YouTube thing. I was a comedy channel called Johnny Fox, and I'll talk about this a little bit. I talked about it a little bit during the beginning, but I'll explain more here since we're deeper into the video. Basically, my whole point was I wanted to make people laugh, and I did. But it also, with that, came a lot of downsides of mentally ill people showing up and hating me, believing the character was real, getting really invested in, trying to hurt or take over or control or whatever the character. I don't know. They had like issues where they thought that, I was a bad person that needed to be stopped, basically, for being rude on the internet, I guess. Because I never did anything bad. Like, I never got canceled. I never got caught doing anything illegal. It was just mentally ill people that were just like, many of them started out as people that would hang out in the Discord. And, naturally on Discord, you're right there with the creator, and I'll be friendly to them or whatever, but they would get so invested that they would misunderstand their position when it came to the show. They're fans of the show, happy, but at the same time, they would start thinking that I owed them things because they watched the show. Like I owed them my time, money, attention, romantic, romantic feelings that I need to reciprocate their feelings for me that were not returned, and it caused a lot of issues. And that's one thing I kind of need to nip in the bud here, because I think it might be worse with this kind of thing, but it's true. I've dated fans in the past, so it's not, that I haven't, but it's just people just get the wrong idea about you. And then when you don't live up to that standard, whether it's they realize I wasn't the character, or they thought I was the character so much that they hated me because I was the character, that it just became like a personal vendetta for them. They got too close and didn't like the fact that I did not see them in the same light they saw me in, I guess. And it's a shame, I made some friends, but a lot of people, they don't understand that boundaries exist for a reason, and when you set a boundary, they don't like it, and then they turn it into a personal thing that basically is becomes like their life mission to ruin you and your career and your life because you did not give them what they wanted. It's entitlement, and it happens with YouTubers a lot. It's called parasocial. Basically, someone has, people will get invested in a YouTuber that they watch or even talk to on Discord here and there, and they feel like, this person that they watch on the internet is like their family member, their friend, their person that they are in love with, even a lot of times, and that they, when the illusion is broken that their little fantasy land they came up with isn't real, they just go insane. And it's happened so many times with me, and at this point it's just part of the thing, man. People catch feelings behind the screen, they'll watch your show. I literally have had someone say once, it was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard, and I'm not trying to trash them, but they literally said, and it was a person that hated me, by the way. Later they hated me because, I don't know, they just didn't like me, because I think it was a weird situation. So I'll tell you one of the dramas, just because some people like tea. There was a girl, I won't say her name, don't want to immortalize her, goth chick from the UK. She was attractive, at least in her picture she was. Turned out she wasn't very attractive, but we had a little bit of a 3-day fling, I would say, where we were a little more friendly than we probably should have been. And she was well over age. She was, I was about 34, she was like 33 or something. She was like right next to me age-wise, but she had a man in real life. And because I was a different person back then, I didn't care. And, if she wants to cheat on him, that's, between those two. And what ended up happening was she felt entitled to me being her boyfriend online, where I could not see other people, but she would also keep her man in real life. And I would just have to deal with the fact that she'll be cheating the whole time, but I can't explore other people. I'd have to stay with her, quote unquote, and be exclusive with her online and offline, while she had a man in real life that she was with. So she wanted to have both. That's cool, by the way, right there, little plant setup. I said no to this because obviously I'm not interested in that sort of thing. Okay, that's really cool. Putting a little fish in a fish tank. I like it. But she didn't appreciate that I wouldn't give her what she wanted, and then she went on this big smear campaign about how awful I am, and I, quote unquote, ran away from her, or I blocked her, or I did all these things. And what I didn't block her, I just told her that's not going to work, and if you can't accept it, I'm sorry, we're not going to make that happen. And became a big stink, basically, because she was upset that I didn't reciprocate what she wanted. I didn't give her what she wanted, so she essentially went on like a little rampage to try to ruin me and my channel and my life because I didn't give her the situation she wanted. And that's why we have to be so careful as creators with how we interact with the fans, because we never know if you're going to be like that with us. You know, that's why a lot of creators create a lot of distance between the fans and us, because a lot of fans, most of you are wonderful, right? I'm not saying trashing any of the fans, but I'm saying it's like 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 1,000 fans take it too far. And then when you're just like, look, I can't do that. That's not something that I can be involved with. They take it as like a personal attack or personal betrayal, and they turn it into a big mess, like a Shakespearean tragedy, to quote one of the people that was involved in that situation. And, saying, well, he has all these relationships that are like Shakespearean tragedies that everybody hears about. I'm like, well, you're the one that literally talked to these people and, made them think that I was a monster for rejecting them. You're the one that did it because you hate me for another reason. So it's just, there's a lot of drama behind the scenes, and I'm trying to not deal with that this time around. So if I'm a little bit distant off air, that's why. Not saying I'm going to be like that with everybody, but I have to be a lot stronger on boundaries these days, because people just, they get the wrong idea, the wrong impression, and then they just take it way too far when their fantasy doesn't become reality. You know what I mean? The thing is, I don't tell them that the fantasy is a thing. They just come up with it on their own. So one of the people in that situation, it wasn't the girl, literally told me, she was like, and it was one of the weirdest things I've ever heard. She said, I've been watching you for 2 weeks and I feel like I know you better than my own mother. And I'm just like, that's both sad, creepy, and weird all at the same time. But I mean, sure. Yeah, you feel closer to me than your own mother. And you've only spoken to me twice. Okay, I guess you never met your mom or something, but people just, they don't have any self-aware. A lot of people don't have self-awareness, and they just get the wrong idea, man. And it's just really, people will just act crazy, That's pretty much all the scandal. Like when I talk about drama or scandals, that's pretty much it. It's just that exact same story repeating. Woman watches the show, she catches feelings thinking that I'm someone, that she wants to be with. And she speaks to me and I don't reciprocate, so she loses her mind because her fantasy didn't come true. That's really every drama I've ever been in. Legitimately, that's every single drama. Is I didn't live up to some woman's parasocial fantasy and she lost her mind because of it. And I'm sure that other dudes have dealt with that before. And other women, oh God, it's probably so much worse with women. Good Lord. Like all the stuff with the those websites where they post their photos that should not be on the internet and all that kind of stuff, they profit off of that. But can you imagine how much they deal with like stalkers? And what I'm describing is called a rejected stalker. It's someone that gets in their own head really obsessed or parasocial with somebody, that that they feel that there's a relationship with a person that's not there. It's one-sided, one-sided. Para meaning one side. And the women, that you see on like those websites like that have these guys that end up becoming stalkers because they think, I pay for this woman's content, therefore she owes me her body. She owes me her time. She owes me her attention forever. And you deal with that as a male creator as well. As people that don't have boundaries or they have serious mental issues will, what is that? I gotta see how he does like those light tubes. I don't see how they. Okay, sure. I don't understand it, but it's there. But it's just, I love the fans. I talk to them all the time. I appreciate them. I work with them on their projects. I try to be good to people, but some people just want too much, and I can't be everything for everyone. I can't do it. I have my own life in real life. I have my own family, you know. I don't have a wife or kids or anything, but I got me, Papa, my neighbors, my uncle, you know, other people that I'm dealing with, you know, in real life. And I can't just, you know, I can't be everything for everyone. I already have my own separate life that I try to keep offline. And, I guess people just, the boundaries are blurred with creators, because it used to be like, you know, with fans of like celebrities, you couldn't talk to them until Twitter showed up, you know. And, you see, and it's not even an age or a gender thing, because you see it on all the time about these obsessed fans. That's what it is. It's obsessed fans and stalkers is what the people are. They become stalkers and stuff. And I have a lot of them. Funny enough, a lot of them still watch the show. The funny thing is, like, I looked at my subscriber feed, and it turned out there's a lot of women that I rejected or even broke up with years ago that are still watching the show. And it's kind of weird, but, you know, because I don't sit here thinking about my exes or checking on them. I don't check on them, or it's once someone's gone, they're gone, man. You got to let it go. Otherwise you'll be stuck there forever and never get away from it. You know, you'll never move on. You'll just be trapped in the past, and that's not where you want to be. It's not healthy to be trapped in the past, you know, sitting there wondering what they're doing, and dedicating more of your life to them and all that. I mean, once it's over, it's over. Apologize right there. I had to do a little bit of maintenance. The computer was acting up on the recording, but we're back in, and everything's going to be just fine. We're coming up on time anyway for this particular video, where they are building out their bathroom. Really is amazing what people can come up with for these things, isn't it? I've always kind of wondered, how do they do the thing where they can like record or aim a camera down at their character doing stuff, unless maybe they get like a second player to, like, you know, set up the angles or something. I'm not sure. If you know how to do it, let me know in the comments section. That would be useful. But, like, you see what I mean? Like right here, like there's, you know, that is absolutely beautiful. Very, very pretty. Much better than anything I could ever do. Let's move on to the next build. Now we move on to a lovely little cozy tree house which is maybe something I actually could build, but I don't know. Probably not. So he's essentially going to build the tree itself block by block. That's actually pretty interesting. For some reason I thought that it was going to be just a tree that they built around, but no, they built their own tree from blocks, which is pretty smart. Especially to get this kind of build. Come on, buddy, get him down. You got to come down from there. You don't want that fox to fall off. I'm sure he got down just fine. There he is. You see him. He's okay. Now he's going back up there for some reason. But he's putting the fencing up, so he's going to protect the little buddy. So he ain't going to go nowhere. I like how the staircase is on the outside of the tree. Keep worrying about the fox gonna fall off the thing, but he looks like he just wants to watch the guy put his thing together. I'm assuming he's not gonna try to jump off. He doesn't seem like he wants to anyway. Yeah, I don't know if I could build this from memory. But that's the thing. I love Minecraft and I love building in Minecraft. I've just never been as good as this stuff, you know. Also, that carpal tunnel came back and it made it where it's kind of hard to play Minecraft, period, because holding the mouse is painful now. So, to anybody that wants their video taken off of my channel, it's fine. I'll take it off. I'll trim it out. But I would be doing more Minecraft content, but my wrists are just too screwed up to even hold the mouse at this point. Like, I can use my little tiny keyboard with the touchpad on it, but that's really awkward to use, like, playing any PC games with it. So, you know, holding a mouse right now is pretty painful. So I promise that I'm not trying to steal any content using these videos. I do give full credit in the description, obviously, and timestamps, so, and make it crystal clear I'm not the one building. So obviously you should always go to the original creator and support their channel. You know, like and subscribe to them, and go in their Twitch chats or whatever chat they do. If they do any of this stuff live, and, you know, give them the love they deserve for making the videos for us to see, you know. always give them the praise and the attention. You know, if you want to watch their original stuff without me here, it's fine. Just go ahead and do so, and make sure you thank them in the comments, because I'm sure it goes a long way. Because they obviously work really, really hard to make something this beautiful, you know. It takes hours and hours probably to plan and put this all together, then even more to edit it, you know. Obviously, if you'd like more of this series, like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments that you want to see more cozy Minecraft build watch parties, you know, and I'll do it. You know, I gotta go with whatever you want, and you vote with your wallet here. Well, you vote with your viewership here, not really your wallet. It's kind of the hard part of being a small gaming or small channel period is, you know, you do all this work and then you get no feedback from the audience because the algorithm doesn't show it to many people at first. So it kind of makes it hard to judge if you're doing good or bad, you know. You kind of just have to, you know, wait and hope that it gets views, and when it does get views, hope people like it. You know, because you're pretty much blind at first to what the audience thinks and wants, you know, or what they react to, what they want to watch. You don't know. You just have to kind of throw it at the wall and hope it does something, and a lot of times it doesn't. But when it does, it does. And that's, you know, it's a good feeling when it does. Sure, these people all started at zero and had the same thing, you know. They didn't all start, you know, being epic and amazing with millions of views up front. Because you can easily finish the roof. I think that roof is not exactly, I wouldn't call that easy. Now I have my own Minecraft build video that didn't do nothing yet, which is fall asleep while I build a small town or cozy town in Minecraft, and it didn't do anything yet, but that's fine. And yeah, it's there. If you want to watch me build stuff and, you know, see what I ended up getting into with that, then obviously it's there for you. And I commentate the whole thing, and it's about 11 hours long, and it's very in depth. It took a very long time to make. I've done Stardew as well, which didn't do anything either. I did a couple of super long Stardew videos that were me playing, and they just didn't do nothing. So if they do eventually get views, I thought about eventually doing like a fall asleep while I build different types of farms in Stardew, like, you know, somewhere or another, make it where I could like build a winery or build a different types of farm things, you know, like start it, like use like the CIB cheap menu or whatever to spawn in some items, and then just build it out and show you the progress of building a vineyard, you know, or building a mayonnaise company or a factory and stuff like that, you know. Because I can do that sort of stuff in Stardew easily, but it's just I have to go with what will actually be promoted and seen. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, is that a sign? Is a sign as the back of a chair? Pretty. I wonder what they do if they have like a server that they have all these builds on, or if they just, you know, what they do with it after. Just a quick reminder that if you would like to join our Minecraft server, there's a link in the description where you can join our server for only $5 a month, and it helps support the channel, it helps support the server, it helps support me, and it gives you a place to hang out where you don't have to worry about any moderators getting in the way or people being rude or, you know, griefing or anything like that. We just, you know, just a VIP server. It's a free-form build server, and there you go. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. And was that only 11 minutes? Well, that was pretty quick, wasn't it? All right, so I think that's a good place to call it for now. That was 5 different builds. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Tell me what you think in the comments, and we'll see what happens with this video. If it gets views, we'll do more. If not, I'll move on to something else. I'll see you next time. Take care.